Hey everybody, it's Chris. Thanks for watching. Not going to sugarcoat it. The Week 12 waiver wire doesn't have a ton of options that are going to make an obvious difference, especially in deeper leagues, but we can still help your rosters. I'd like to remind you to please really just take a moment, subscribe to the channel. I know you think it doesn't matter. There are lots of people who watch these videos and don't subscribe. It's one little click of the little bell. It really does help. I would appreciate it. Okay, so we are headed into the sort of disjointed week of Thanksgiving football for Week 12, and I think if you're in a shallower league, there are some potential waiver options you could look at. Let's take a look first at that first list. So the percentages here are Yahoo percentage ownership. There aren't sure things on this list. You know, Pittman graduates to the shallow list and will get more love for sure after scoring a touchdown on Sunday. Rex Burkhead suffered a serious knee injury, so presumably James White gets more consistent passing game looks for the Patriots. And I'm putting Deebo Samuel on here just in case he's back in Week 12, though we don't know anything for sure just yet. So why do we have Gallman at number 1? Wayne Gallman of the Giants. I mean, do we like him? I don't know. But as the Giants come off their bye week, guys who are getting 70% of their team's running back share don't grow on trees. Chase volume. We love that guy. Chase volume. And the New York offense was functional enough in its previous 2 games for Gallman to luck into 3 goal line touchdowns. And to be fair, you can't watch something like this where there really isn't a hole and Gallman sort of just forces his way and then crushes a 240-pound linebacker trying to tackle him. You can't watch this and at least forget that Gallman's a strong dude. But you have to realize that he's sort of a replacement level banger. A run like this, I mean, there's a chance, right? You could, if you had it in your arsenal, like electric jump cut to the right and maybe make the corner miss, and it's just not Gallman's game. Is there a cutback lane here to his right? Could he do something other than run straight forward directly into the butts of his offensive linemen? And we showed you this play on the show about a month ago. We'll take a 17-yard gain. It's a good, a little bit slow, but a good move to get loose and start running. But a really good running back in the open field with a safety comparatively flat-footed with his feet on the NFL logo, he would leave that guy in the dust, right? And Gallman just sort of wet farts it and gets tackled. All of which is to say, no, I'm not that thrilled with Wayne Gallman. And Alfred Morris was a little bit of a nuisance before the bye week. But honestly, at least as a flex, even in really shallow leagues, a kind of a power back, a decent goal line back, a good workload. There aren't many of those available, so we don't turn up our nose if we're desperate at Wayne Gallman. Okay, I'll get to a little bit more waiver talk in just a moment. First, let's thank the sponsor. It's Manscaped. This is my lawnmower 3.0 from Manscaped. It's an electric body trimmer. And it makes a really good holiday gift. Good gift for any guy in your life, but also a gift for yourself because maybe ask your partner whether it might be welcome if you did a little body grooming, including below the belt. Precision tools for your family jewels, right? The good thing about the lawnmower from Manscaped is that it's got skin-safe technology, so you'll never get a nick or a cut down there. It's a little silly to talk about pruning your excess body hair. But then again, ask your partner if they would like it if you weren't maybe a hairy wildebeest down there. It's a gift for yourself, maybe a gift for your partner too, if you think about it that way. I use my lawnmower. It works great. Supporting the sponsors and using our promo codes is how this channel stays free. If you go to manscaped.com and use the code HarrisTube, you'll save 20% on a fun and cool holiday gift idea. Plus, you'll be supporting this channel. That is manscaped.com and use that code HarrisTube. Okay, so we're not going to do the big, massive, usual breakdown for the rest of the guys on the waiver list. I'll show you them in a moment. Frankly, it's not that good a list, and we just don't have that many plays to show you that are going to rock your world. But remember to keep checking in at harrisfootball.com for the Tuesday podcast, where maybe something will happen Monday night, and maybe I'll change my mind, and there will be somebody who you might think about adding with some more enthusiasm than we're about to show you here.
Hey everybody, producer Dave Piper here. Just wanted to let you guys know we would have had Dobbins on our shallow waivers, but he and Mark Ingram both have contracted COVID. So Gus Edwards would probably take the number one spot here for Thursday's game against the Steelers.
I mean, what I'm showing you here is a few same-seeming wideouts who obviously have upside potential, but who clearly will not make comfortable starts. Aguilar will make a deep play and make a touchdown, but you know he can disappear in any week in a flurry of drops. Do you really want any part of that Eagle offense, even if Jalen Reagor's popping a little bit? MVS, I mean, OMG, right? Makes a big play against the Colts and then fumbles the game away. So, all right, I put number one here, Jordan Reed. If you have a need at tight end, we'll show you a couple plays from a couple weeks ago. If it's still Nick Mullins Sunday against the Rams, I mean, I'm not thrilled. But in the absence of George Kittle, Reed played well against the Saints. He did his... That's a good low ball catch there. Makes Nick Mullins look better. I mean, he caught this potential medicine ball, and it's Jordan Reed, so anytime he takes a hit like that and doesn't get hurt, I feel some sense of relief. It was a tough grab. And going down the field, Reed has always been a good and really coordinated athlete. This is a harder than it looks kind of catch. My message here isn't that Reed is a great ad, unless you're desperate at tight end. And then even then, great is probably stretching it, but he's going to get close to my top 12 tight ends this week. So, okay, instead of recommending that you go crazy, alternating between Aguilar touchdowns and Aguilar drops and Aguilar drop touchdowns, we're going to do something a little different here, which is going to take a look at the 5 most handcuffable running backs, as of my opinion right now. Of course, bye weeks are about to end. We got 2 more teams heading on bye on week 13. Nobody will be on bye in week 12, so maybe you don't need quite as many reserve players. You could maybe stash a handcuff or 2 in case the worst happens to the starter. These guys are, I'm going to count down 5 of them, and they're the ones who I think are probably relatively handcuffable right now, and maybe even 1 or 2 of them, even if you don't have the starter who's in front of them. So my criteria for this list is that the running back has to be available in 1/3 of Yahoo leagues or fewer. I'll start with Brian Hill of the Falcons, who's owned in 7% of leagues. He's behind Todd Gurley. The Falcons' running game was stymied Sunday against the Saints, but Hill does play every week. He's just not nearly as good a bet as Gurley for touchdowns. But if Gurley went down, which we know is a possibility, Hill would probably not get the job entirely to himself. But yeah, I mean, he would have a chance at establishing some flex worthiness. At number 4 on my countdown list is Devontae Booker. Didn't exactly follow up his big game against the Broncos with very much on Sunday night. Played 15 snaps compared to 42 for Josh Jacobs. But he's become the obvious second man in for a good Raider offense that would clearly like to stay as balanced as they can, pending what happens on the scoreboard and who they're playing against. Booker doesn't have Jacobs' awesome decisiveness or vision or cutting ability, but he's done a pretty fair impersonation of Jacobs' power and his directness, and heaven forbid something happened to the Jack Gerbil, because I might be inconsolable, but we would probably see Booker join the ranks of the flexual as well. At number 3, I'll say Boston Scott of the Eagles. He did get a 2-game look as the starter in weeks 7 and 8 when Miles Sanders was out, and he doesn't have a lot of standalone value if Sanders is healthy. And I don't think he's really anybody's idea of a long-term solution as your NFL team's number 1. But tough little dude who fits the Philly pass attack and the dump-offs and that kind of thing, has enough acceleration and wiggle that when he does get into the open field, man, he can score a long touchdown like he did in Week 10 against the Giants. Recognize that Jordan Howard is now on Philly's practice squad, so it might not be totally smooth sailing if Miles Sanders were to get hurt, but I think Scott is the one. He would be worth a handcuff for Miles Sanders owners. I kind of promised I would never say Alexander Madison's name ever again after he busted so hard the week Dalvin Cook was out with injury. And Madison actually only barely qualifies here because he's still owned in 33% of Yahoo leagues. But, the week 6 disaster notwithstanding, it really makes absolutely no sense to have Dalvin Cook and not have the founding fathers himself, Alexander Madison. He's a cut rate version of Cook. He's never going to have that kind of home run hitting ability, but He's a tough, strong, physical, not totally immobile laterally kind of player who would inherit a presumably massive workload, and hopefully he would not puke it away again. And number one among the handcuffables, you actually may have seen his name on my Deep League list just a couple minutes ago, Tony Pollard at 19% owned. I can't tell you he's already a better running back than Zeke Elliott. But I can tell you I don't think Zeke brings the kind of 0 to 60 acceleration or top-end speed that Pollard does. And yes, it is different, coming in for 5 handles a game and looking good compared to doing it for 20. But if Elliott gets hurt, I mean, Pollard's not just going to be a flex. We'd be talking about getting him well up inside the ranks of the RB2s. If you are a Zeke Elliott owner, and even if you're not an Elliott owner in a deeper league, I would think about finding an emergency roster spot for Tony Pollard. And there you go. That's it. I encourage you, again, to listen to the Tuesdays podcast. You can find all the information you need on the podcast at harrisfootball.com, because if anything happens on Monday Night Football, this list could conceivably change. That will be the more finalized list in advance of your Week 12 waivers. Let me also just recommend that you check out Manscaped, because honestly, without the sponsors, we wouldn't have a show. So if you keep supporting the sponsors, that means they'll come back and keep supporting the channel, and that means the channel will continue to exist. So we really appreciate Manscaped for being here. Check them out. It is a great and sort of funny gift idea. I think your male friends in your life might really enjoy it. We appreciate you very much. Thanks for watching. Thanks so much for watching. Please, please, please smash that like button. Write a comment, tell us who else you'd like to see us review film on, and of course, best of all, please subscribe to our channel and then click that little bell above the subscribe button, and you'll be notified whenever we post a new video.